So I'm going to Home Depot and I'm gonna get tons and tons and tons of 3M command adhesive, hooks and cable keepers and all sorts of stuff. I'm gonna make the inside of my aquarium sump look absolutely beautiful, and that's the most important part of an aquarium because it's all about beauty.
What?
Some tags, only got $20 in my pocket. I'm hunting, looking for a color. This is awesome.
I heard your comments about the big mess of wires in my tank, and I took action. Now, one of those things that I picked up at the store that I really liked are these 3M command adhesives for hanging pictures. They're pretty awesome. They have a sort of kind of a hard Velcro on them, and they'll hold a lot of weight, and you can use 2 or 3 for really heavy things. So these things are great. Other things that I picked up that I really like are these little Velcro cable holders. I like them because a lot of times you might be changing out equipment or testing different things, and these cable holders work really well, unlike zip ties, which you have to cut each time. So these are zip ties, and even though I prefer the cable holders in some cases, if it's something that you're not going to have to swap out for a long time, these little zip ties are probably the most visually appealing thing, and you can cut them up pretty short. And these bigger zip ties are pretty useful for even like hanging lights and different things. They're actually pretty strong. Let me show you what's in my tank, and you can see actually how it turned out. First thing I want to show you is this. This is the little thing that I use to hang up all of this little sucker I've developed. So this has a little tube here, and then this is a big long siphon, and I use this to suck detritus off of the bottom of my tank. And then I put the long end of that tube into my filter socks, and that basically means that all the gunk that gets sucked up in here gets caught in the filter sock. So I really like that. Now let's talk about some of the connectors. So in the back here I had some wires, and I kind of looped them up with these 3M connectors. They look pretty good. The problem is the black wires don't look that great against the white background, but it's okay. The other thing is I hung these lights for my refugium. Now if you see here, I zoom in on that, that is actually, yes, I drilled into my tank. I know, it took a lot of bravery to do it, but the reason why I did that is because I did try to, sorry about the focus, I did try to hang something with a 3M command strip from the ceiling, and that light fell into the water. Now fortunately that was not this awesome light that I purchased. This was actually before I got this light. This is my refugium light, and I'm just so glad this thing didn't fall in the water. The other one was really cheap old Kessel 150, and it wasn't that good. So, but this guy, if I lost him, I'd be upset. Now you can see here, sorry about the focus again, but I'm actually hanging this from a black zip tie. So black zip tie is pretty nice for that. Now I want to show you this tank mod. It's really the first one, but all I really did here was I painted the back side of the glass for the auto top off. I painted that black, and the reason why I did that is so when this light is on, it's a very bright purple light, and I want the light just going into the algae, and this thing blocks it so that my little clownfish down here don't have a terrible time sleeping when they have a lot of purple light bleed. So that actually contains most of the light. Now on this side, and the filter socks contain the rest, so I'm using that as a good way to focus the light. Quick update on the skimmer. The skimmer is, some people would say undersized. It's definitely undersized for this tank, but it's doing a great job, and I have to empty it about once a week, so that's a week of skimming there, so it's definitely time to empty it. So I'm happy with it. I'm not going to change it for now, because if it's doing what it needs to do, then why mess with it? can also see my little Chaetomorpha growing sump thing there. The side light's on. That always turns on 30 minutes before I have that other light. I don't know why I turn them on at different times, but it just looks cool. This helps light things from the side. So let's look at the other organization of the cables. This is my cool cleaning station. So I hung all these different things up on little hooks. And if you notice, I actually have two types of nets there. This is really important. This one says clean net, and this one says danger. And the reason why it says danger is because that one is for quarantine fish, so that net only touches quarantine fish. The other net is for clean fish after they've been treated. So it's important to make sure that all of your things are held separately. Now, if we look in here, it's not perfect. I'm still working on trying to organize some of these cables, but it is much better than it was. You can see I have space on the floor here, and most of the cables are on the wall. I have my Neptune system apex in the back here. I've got the little brains there and the power brick there, and I also have an older Neptune system power brick here. That's enough to run my tank for now. For my display for the Neptune systems, I actually have it on this tablet, and I was using the tablet to watch movies, so right now that's not up right now, but typically that's up. And that's the great thing about these 3M Command adhesive, is when I do want to use this tablet to just watch shows, I just take it off and then I just push it back in place and then maybe organize it a little bit to get it vertical. I've got my auto top off here, and this is a one just for my quarantine tank. And then in the back here, I have my dosing pumps and my calcium and alkalinity, so I am dosing two-part. I've got my little skimmer controller there. I've got my gyre pumps there. And most of the stuff is routed with these little cable keepers that work. They work pretty well. The problem is they don't have a lot of room for the thicker cables. So for thick cables, those little these cable keepers do not cut it. I need something that's a little bit bigger. But overall, I'm pretty pleased with the 3M Command adhesive stuff. It's actually holding up all that Neptune system stuff as well. So that's it. And then on the back side, I don't know if I wanted to show you this, but this is not quite as pretty, but much prettier than before. Basically what I've done is I've lined up all of these power bricks for all my different lights, and they're all lined up vertically, held on with this 3M Command adhesive, which is surprisingly strong. If I can just push it in place in one hand, there we go. And I've got these lined up so the plug goes in the outlets on the bottom side. That's the part with the gap to kind of shield them from water. And I have them outside of the tank because they do generate a significant amount of heat, so I want that heat kind of out of my tank, but I want them close enough to my tank so that I have access to it. So that's a quick tour of the sump. I'll kind of open it all up so I can give you a big open view of what it looks like. And so that's everything organized. Now, one thing you might notice is my skimmate locker is currently not in use. That's because I would have to drill a big hole in my tank to actually route the skimmate from the skimmer to the skimmate locker. And I'm just not ready to do that yet. So now I think it's time for a quick tour of the tank. If you've noticed, it looks a little cloudy in here, and that is just because, well, really, I have no idea why it is. So if you can tell me why this tank is cloudy, please leave a comment in the comment section below. I am using filter socks, and until recently, I just swapped out my floss filter socks because they got a little clogged with gunk, so I'm using the mesh ones right now, but I still don't know why the water is cloudy, so please let me know if you have any ideas, things that can help clear it up. I've been running that carbon down there, and that still does not seem to have worked. Quick tour, we've got the little urchin in there. I don't know if you noticed him, but he is a tuxedo urchin. Very good guy, hangs around, cleans things up. And my other fish that I dumped in the last video are all doing pretty well. They're enjoying the tank a lot. My maroon clownfish has decided to host my brain coral, which seems like a good thing to do if you're a maroon clownfish, but I really need to get him a bubble tip an enemy in there, and I do have some kind of waiting in the wings for that. Got some other corals in there. There is my prized Space Invader Pectina. This is absolutely my favorite coral. I also have this really cool branching green star polyp, which is extremely rare and is kind of related to your typical green star polyp, but it does not cover things in a mat. And then I've got some of my acroporas here. These are some 2,000, 3,000 league acros, and I've got some other guys in there. The color's not super great because I don't have a lot of light on this tank yet. I do have a, basically I'm running 2 T5s, and each T5 has 2 bulbs, so 4 bulbs of T5s right now. And then on top I have a Kessel AP700, and it's just kind of sitting on top of the tank in a makeshift fixture. Pretty soon I'm going to update everything and get new lights, but I'm kind of waiting on that to see what I really want. And that's going to be something that can cover the entire width of the tank. So that is my video, and I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. And you're watching Puff Daddy Reef. We'll see you next weekend.
This is techno.